Hello YouTube! Today I'm going to talk to you about my Lenovo U310. The U310 is a Lenovo Ultrabook that I got about 5 days ago. And over those 5 days I've had a chance to get to know the pros and cons about it. One of the things that I like a lot about it is its small form factor. It's about, I think, 0.7 or 0.8 inches thick at its thickest point. And it's, I think it's 3.75 pounds. So it's pretty small. It's a 13.3 inch screen. What I like about it is it's an i5 processor that runs at 1.7 gigahertz a second, and it also has hyperthreading, so it runs really fast. Another thing that's really nice about it is that it actually runs pretty cool. I'm used to my HP DV5T, which I've had for about 4 years or so, and that computer always ran extremely warm. Right now it's averaging about 64 degrees or so, while the Lenovo is about 25. So it's a pretty significant difference, and it's really nice when you're going around and you have say it's causing you a hand to catch on fire whenever you're walking around. It's really nice to have. One of the things I don't like about this laptop is that the keyboard is not the most solid. When you're typing, the backplate, I guess I'll call it, is not the most stable. It flexes a little bit underneath your fingers. It's not like at the risk of breaking, but you can tell it flexes a little bit. Another thing that's a bit inconvenience is that when I was walking around the street checking out the Wi-Fi, I noticed that my HP had about 2 or so bars higher on average Wi-Fi signal than my Lenovo. Well, that's pretty significant. I'm not too worried about it because most places I'm pretty close to the hotspot, so I should be fine. So here's a closer look at this laptop. As you can see, it's very thin. In comparison, here's a Droid 3, which is about as thick as the base, and then plus the screen, which is still pretty thin. You can see it's pretty thin. So on the edge of the case, we have a USB 2.0 slot. We have the headphones. We have the power jack. Then the back. On the right, on the left side, we have the network. We have HDMI. We have 2 USB 3.0 ports. We don't have the Lenovo always on ports, however. On the base, we have 4 these little feet, which do add some thickness to it, but it's nice. It keeps it off the desk for air circulation and for keeping it scratch free. Overall, for the laptop, it's pretty nice build. It doesn't have, the base is the bottom cover is not the most solid, but it is tiny bit flex, but not too much. This surface right here, it's very solid. It feels smooth. It doesn't. One thing what I like about this is that it doesn't pick up fingerprints. My old laptop, if you even breathed on it, it got the fingerprint somehow. Don't ask me how. It just happened. And around the edge of this, we have a nice little, groove, which actually does help when you're opening. So you have to try to go on a smooth surface. It helps you lift it up. Let's say the power and hard drive light right here. And a few things about this from here, you can see that we have the keyboard, which is, I think it's called the island style, and you can see it's a separate piece of, I don't think it's plastic or metal underneath it. And that's the part I'm talking about. When you type, you can see, you actually can see this on the video, but it does actually flex down a little bit as you type, and it does make you wonder just what's happening when you push down, because it just flexes a little bit. Not too. It's probably like a millimeter or two, but it's still. One thing that I find as inconvenience is the touchpad. It's quite large. It's about as wide as my hand, where the other one is about the one on my HP is about that wide compared to about that wide. And the reasons why I'm putting this up is because when I'm typing and I'm moving, sometimes I leave my hand on my left hand on the laptop while I scroll around with the other. And the problem this creates is if I don't fully pull my hand off of the touchpad, it thinks I'm trying to zoom because it registers my palm as my other finger trying to do a pinch to zoom. And it becomes annoying when you're on a website and it starts getting incredibly small or incredibly big. It's just a little annoying. Other than that, I don't see anything wrong from this point. With the hardware. One thing that I do miss is that I do not have a fingerprint scanner. I think those are very handy. It makes it much easier to log on if you feel like a secret agent. It does come with facial recognition software, so you can log in with that. However, the downside to it is that it's not always that accurate. I found that when I'm trying to use it, it took a long time for it to set up because it couldn't recognize my face or something. And then when I'm sitting there trying to get logged on, I'm constantly doing this, just trying to pick up my face, and it just sits there and does nothing. I'm probably gonna end up disabling it just because it's just probably faster to use my password. But other than that, it's still nice. So then your battery life. Right now I'm on 100% battery life. I think let's try this right now. My brightness right now is about that's maybe 40% or so, and I have 5.5 hours of battery life, and this has been unplugged for a little bit. So good battery life. It was enough to get me through a day of class. So that's what I can see from a close-up perspective. That's the other thing I can show you is on this performance information and tools that Microsoft will scan for. It comes with a base score of 4.6, but the processor ranks at a 6.9, which is pretty fast, and will be nice for me when I'm compiling programs. RAM is 5.9, same as hard drive. One of the things that's about the hard drive in this computer is it's 500 gigabytes, but it also has a 32 gigabyte SSD drive. So that way, when your Windows and your commonly used programs are loaded from that drive, so that way it loads as fast as possible because the SSD is much faster than the hard drive. So it's pretty handy. And the 4.6 is from the graphics, the desktop performance for Windows Aero, which I'm not really too concerned about. I'm coming from using two computers that use Windows 7 Ultimate, and this is a step down to Windows 7 Home Premium, which I'm a little sad about, but I will make it last for now, and I'll probably get up to Windows 7 Ultimate, or maybe just drop up to Windows 8. I don't know at this point. Well, that's just a look at this right now. I'm going to shut all these computers down and do a test of how fast they boot up. So, I'm going to do that, and I'll be back to you in a minute. So, I guess overall, do I like this computer? Will I keep it? Will I use it for the next few years? Yes. It is a very nice computer, and I will keep it. This is a computer that I got specifically for going to class, taking notes, doing some programming assignments, and Facebook and YouTube, but my parents and family didn't hear that. This is I decided that, I got this. I wanted to be a good productivity computer, but also wanted to be small and light and be able to go to class, which is exactly what this will be able to do. It is not as light as the U300, and I think the U300 might have been a little slimmer, But the reason why this is not as light is because they want to meet a price point with this. This was about $750 on Amazon where I got it, and the previous model I think was over 1,000. I'm not sure on that number. Don't quote me on it. But they want to make it a cheaper computer, which they did. And I think this is a good computer for people who are students because it's cheap and it's nice and mobile. If you are if you really care about the weight and for the size and the specs, you might want to look more into some of their higher end Ultrabooks. In fact, that's a little bit lighter, a little bit but it would be a bit more spendy. But overall, this for the price I paid for this. I am very happy with this. I'm looking forward to use this even more. If I come up with anything else that I feel like adding to this video, I will be sure to add it on and make a link to it. So I hope you enjoy and take a look at it. I'll be sure to post a link. Thanks. Bye.